Yes, students, our today's first speaker, Vivek Khandelwal sir, is there. So I request Ashna ma'am to introduce our today's speaker. And Mr. Vivek sir, can you please on your camera so that our students can see you here? Yes, good morning, sir. And I am handing this platform to Ashna. Yes, Ashna.
Yes, so good morning, students. It's really happy to see you all in such a happy morning on the weekend itself. And welcome all to the Spectrum that is Conclave 2023. So, we do have our first guest speaker, Mr. Khandelwal sir, for our Spectrum First Conclave. So, Vivek sir has 60K plus hours of experience in consumer industry across urban and rural retail, covering both modern and general trade, e-commerce, digital, and youth and influencer marketing areas. He has worked and contributed in several areas including retail, FMCG, fashion, pharma, media, and toys with extensive travel within India and various international markets like USA, Switzerland, Germany, France, South Africa, Vietnam, Hong Kong, and Bangkok. He had the opportunity to work on numerous aspects covering business strategy, operations, sales, buying and merchandising, category management, marketing, promotions, in store execution, customer experience, influencer marketing, engaging, and micro influencer, close working in B2C and B2B as well. So currently he's working as a freelance career at Workplace Mentor in topmed.io. I welcome you, sir, to the Spectrum, the virtual conclave 2023 of MITSD. Over to you, sir, now.
Thank you so much, Ashna. Thanks a ton, Professor Pandey, for having me here this morning. Really super delighted to be here. Guys, if you are all excited, I want to hear one word from each one of you here who's part of this session. What is it that you are looking at? This is a Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. Give me one word which you are feeling at this point in time after Professor Rinku Christopher has already spoken. What is that one word that comes to your mind? Let me just read your comments here. People are saying good morning. Yes, very good morning. Okay, Sanjay Makwana says motivation, amazing. Yes, motivation is very important. Success, excited, change. Sandeep says change. Mangesh says excited. Sarvesh says refreshing. Shantanu says energy. Learning, energy, happy, grateful. Awesome, brilliant. Keep it flowing, guys. Zoomu, okay, Zoom. So Zoomu, I love that. Decision positive. How's the Josh? Yeah, Josh is awesome. Huh? You can see that from the voice. And I'm sure this Josh is going to sustain throughout the session because the real Josh comes from each one of you, because you are going to make this session lively. It is not going to be me. It is actually going to be you. Your engagement, your participation, your questions, and your energy is going to define what this session is going to be. So are we really excited about it? Okay, first of all, thank you so much, Ashna, for those nice words. It was really elaborate. You could have just kept it one-liner, but that's really kind and generous of you. Okay, if you can give me sharing rights, that will be awesome, Ashna.
Yes, sir, we have given you the rights.
Okay, awesome. So in the meanwhile, while I'm going to upload the screen here, I have a question to ask to each one of you. How many of you are ready to keep your video on? The moment you keep your video on, the energy. So Professor Pandey, is the video allowed for the participants?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just asking if video is allowed as per your protocol, then if you keep the video on, the energy level in the room is very different, if people are comfortable with that. Okay, Dilly Babu has kept it on, and wherever you have named it as PGDM, probably you might like to rename it as your name. Is that allowed, Professor Pandey?
Yes, sir. They can rename themselves with their name and MIT ID is required.
Okay, so just keep your name in the front and then followed by MIT ID so that Professor Pandey and her team will follow the protocol. Thanks a ton for keeping the video on. The energy is very different the moment you keep the video on. So just checking, is my voice clear? आप लोग चाहते हैं कि मैं हिंदी अंग्रेजी में मिक्स में बात करूं, हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स? Should I go solo English? Let's have some comment in the chat box. Should I go Hindi English mix? Should I keep it purely English? What is convenient for everyone? Mix. People are saying mix. Professor Pandey, seeking your permission. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, definitely. You can take it in your flow. Okay. Just checking so that, it's equally convenient as per the institution's protocol. Okay. So our topic for today is power of workplace quotient.
अब लोग ऐसा पूछेंगे ये क्या नया buzzword है? What is this quotient thing coming up? We have already left our school long back. We don't want to learn quotient anymore. I do understand you don't want to learn quotient anymore, and that's absolutely fair. However, here the language, the communication, the intent of the word quotient is very, very different. Let's get going into the quotient piece, but before that, couple of stories for you here. And these stories are stories of real life. These stories are stories that people like you and me encounter every single day. Okay, so let me just narrate the story. The first story is the story of Divakar. Now, who is this guy called Divakar? Divakar has been associated with company XYZ for a pretty long time. And what happened? Divakar got an average rating. Okay, and when he inquired with the HR, with his line manager, as to what really happened, क्या हो गया उसको average rating क्यों मिली है? So the question was that his short temperament came into play, and HR noted this feedback because despite having worked very, very hard over a period of time, because of his short temperament and talking in public, it actually, stole the real magic, the real power that he actually had. So his hardworking candidature was completely in his favor. Okay, so that's candidate number one. Let's move to the next candidate. The next candidate is Nitya. Nitya had joined the organization recently. चलिए देखते हैं उसकी story क्या है. Nitya went above and beyond. Above and beyond का मतलब क्या है? When we work with an organization, we give our heart and soul to the organization. हमारे पास जो कुछ हम सब कुछ दे देते हैं to ensure that we rise and shine, to ensure that our work profile is absolutely shining every single moment. Now, what happened in this process? When Nitya was doing all this work, there was a lot of compromises that happened at Nitya's end. Compromises in terms of the eating habits, the sleeping patterns, then also his own exercise routine, his own wellness took a beating. He started giving work the ultimate priority. Nothing wrong in that, but then a lot of times personal life took a beating. Why? Because he was not really in a position to manage the time, and because he was not able to manage time, that actually ended up becoming an issue. And all this resulted into what? All of this resulted into what you can really see on the screen. These elements that I'm circling here. It is burnouts, it is erratic leaves. Suddenly he became unwell. So this is again a real-time scenario where we are not able to define what's the right balance for ourselves. So this is the second one. Let's move to the third one. The third one is Arun. Arun has been working in the organization. वो 2 साल से जुड़ा हुआ है organization से. The primary reason why he shifted to organization X was salary. That he was getting a higher salary. It was almost close to about 20% hike. He was very happy that he will now be in a position to pay bills and all of that stuff. And also he could go out for an international travel. So all of this brought a lot of excitement, but something else also happened alongside this. इसके बाद क्या हुआ? He got another offer. And इस बार जब offer आया, तो he started thinking again that this offer is actually better than what he got here, obviously better. But then it was not really something that he was aligned on, saying, okay, he was not really clear as to what is his own purpose in life. वो करना क्या चाहता है जीवन में? What does he want to do? Where does he want to head in his career? He had already worked for about 10 to 15 odd years. He was almost in his mid-career. Okay, what is it that he really wanted to do? He wasn't very clear about it. And that is where comes the power of Ikigai. Now, many of you may know the meaning of Ikigai, but Ikigai in its simplest term, agar mujhe कहना हो, so it is seen as the right combination, the right junction where your talent, passion, your profession, where they all coincide and come at the common point. When you start loving your work and when your passion becomes your profession, which can help you generate money also, that is where you have walked a little bit on the path of Ikigai. Ikigai is a concept that comes from Japanese. It comes from the Japanese culture. So all that it means is when you find something that you start loving, okay, it also implies that, see, हमें उस journey तक पहुंचने के लिए we have to see series of ups and downs. ऐसा जीवन में कभी भी नहीं होता that you start to think something and you suddenly get it like in a whiff. It doesn't really happen like that. So you have to accept that there are a lot of situations which are not really going to be normal. There are a lot of situations which will not really match what you are really looking at. You may not be able to pay your bills appropriately. There'll be erraticity. Your family may not find it comfortable. They might like you to move to the routine job time and again. All of those things will really happen. Okay, so in this kind of a scenario, how do you really run this? And that is where having a fine balance to align that, okay, you have started to work on your passion alongside your work, so that slowly and gradually you are in a position to test waters. Okay, I'm just taking a pause now. Okay, no, there's a fourth scenario. Let me cover the fourth scenario and then I'll come back to you. The fourth scenario is a scenario of Ravi. Ravi अपने मैनेजर के केबिन में जाता है. After Ravi goes to the manager cabin, his manager Sagar starts to do his appraisal. His manager appreciates him for all the commitment and everything that he does. But towards the middle of the appraisal, his manager Sagar brings forth one very important element. And that element is that, Ravi, I have to do a lot of follow-ups with you. There are things that you don't really do on your own. And every time that I do a follow-up with you, there's a price to this follow-up. And the price is that ownership is with me and not just directly with you. Every time that I take the ownership, it becomes a challenge. So this is something which triggered thoughts for Ravi. And that's when came the journey of Ravi. Emerged the journey of Ravi for him to improve. Okay, let me take a pause here and let me stop sharing screen for a quick moment. And I want to ask each one of you here, are these stories relatable? Just write yes in the chat box if these stories are relatable. And these are stories that we encounter every single day. Chamal says yes. Many people have started saying yes. Okay, so people are finding it. Please resolve the problem or else we won't. Please resolve which problem? Okay, Prajakta Ramteke says, please resolve the problem. Ashna, can you look into what exactly is the issue that Prajakta is facing? I'm not really sure.
Sure, sir. Sure, I'll look after it.
Yeah, please. Thank you so much, Ashna. Okay. So let me also ask a quick aspect at this stage. Are you guys enjoying? Is my speed okay? Just write loving it if you guys are loving it. If my speed is okay, Hindi Angrezi ka mix is fine. Just write loving it in the chat box so that all fine, it's great. Okay, high energy. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, at this junction, let me also ask another question to all of you. If you want this session to be even more enterprising, just write in the chat box what kind of industries do you guys represent? Okay, and are you an early starter or are you in your mid-career? Just write that. I don't need to know about your companies. That's fine. So Samir says IT, pharma, in railways, pharma, okay, education, architecture, construction, IT, 3 years experience. So people, we have youngsters also. Are there any freshers for whom it's their first job? Please do mention so that I cater to them as well. Electrical, engineering, retail, pharmacy, mechanical, assistant sales manager, food, 5 years experience, education, IT fresher. Very important, IT fresher. Thank you so much. Fresher. Prachi says fresher. Okay, someone with 20 years experience. Nice to have you as well here. Okay, mechanical, education, fresher. Okay, awesome. I think the entire chat box is buzzing, and I think MIT SDE team will be super delighted with the energy that each one of you are bringing on board. Thank you so much for that. QSR, MNC, HR fresher, mid-career, machine manufacturing, 10 years, customer service, 27 years experience. Ashok Kumar, thank you so much for having here, for taking up this program. Electronics, Minakshid, healthcare, 5 years experience, 18 years, admin, automobile. So let me share with you, I've also been blessed to mentor a lot of startups, early age startups as part of Startup India Forum. So I've dealt with a variety of different industries. So very interesting. Okay, with this, let me get going. So this participation from your side really helps me a lot to understand this. Now, this is the story. Now, with this story in the background, let me talk a bit about Quotient. So the moment you think about this word Quotient, एक सवाल जो मेरे माइंड में आता है कि why this buzz? Why there is a buzz around this? So पहले तो let's demystify that. So quotient is what? Quotient in its simplest terms, it means a degree or amount of a specified quality or characteristic. ये जो आपको यहाँ दिख रहा है, okay? Now, if you go deeper, isn't this true for everything that we do in our career or in our workplace as well? Everything that we do in our career or workplace, they are always connected to degree or amount of specified quality. The quality of work that you do or the kind of characteristic that you bring, your character, your ways of working, all of those things make tons of difference. Okay, so I wanted to say that this is what really happens. And I am someone who has always believed in the right balance. सही तरह का संतुलन या बैलेंस कैसे आता है जीवन में? The real balance actually comes in when individuals are balanced holistically. Holistically का मतलब क्या है? When you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you are balanced in all of those areas. Now just think about it for a moment, guys. The entire world is talking about yoga. And where have they learned yoga from? From us, from our culture, from India. India has given birth to yoga, and people have gone all over the world to market yoga. It is selling like a hot cake at a price which is much, much, much higher than the price at which yoga is available in India. In fact, in India, it is available for free. In tons of places, it is available for free. So when you have this right balance, ये right balance क्या करता है आपके जीवन में? This right balance defines the direction that you want to head to, okay? The current place where you are and where you want to head to. And the moment you become clear about that kind of a scenario, that is what is uplifting for you. You start to feel elevated in life. कि चलो यार मैंने ये तो decide कर लिया कि what is the direction that I want to head to. Every now and then I keep having a variety of different mentoring sessions, right from college students to working professionals. And with a lot of working professionals whom I am mentoring at this point in time in my career, they have this challenge that they have not looked at anything beyond work. All that they do is work, 9 to 7, work, ghar aane ke baad bhi work. There is no life beyond that. My first encouragement to all of you is, if you want to be effective at work, you got to have a life beyond work as well. Okay. So with this, let's just get this straight. So let me give a quick example. Two people with similar what? Two people with similar qualifications are different, with similar backgrounds are different, experiences are different. यहाँ पे अगर दो लोग same town से, same गांव से, same city से, कहीं से भी हो, their parents are different, their fingerprints are different, their educational qualification might be different, their marks are different. So still, what happens? Despite all these differences, also something happens. What happens? There will still be overlaps. Now, why do I say that that there will be overlaps? Because there is something that differentiates such people. Why are there overlaps? It is like saying that, okay, 3 people know SAP as a what should I say, as SAP usage, or probably 3 people know the basics of AI. Let me take AI as a topic. AI is a hot topic. All of us are aware about AI. 3 people are aware about the basics of AI, but the way they will end up using AI is going to be very, very different. One person might end up using, chatbot, chat GPT in one way. Another person will use chat GPT in another way. Okay. One person will use Canva for one purpose. Another person will use another tool. Though despite having same background, look at what differentiates people. So this brings us to the next level, which is there are many aspects which differentiates people. And what are those many aspects? Let me go deeper into this. So aspect number 1 is what you can see on the screen. It is about uncertain times. Now, what happens in uncertain times is there will always be situations which are erratic. मैंने वो example दिया था ना ikigai का. If you have to walk the path of ikigai, it is not as simple as it seems to be, because you have to be mentally so resilient, इतना strong बनना पड़ेगा आपको mentally, that you are able to accept rejections, failures, and you are also someone who can rise through resilience. So these are realities. You have to face uncertain times. Pandemic came. Pandemic never gave you an information saying, knock, knock, I'm coming your way. No, it never gave it. It just came with a bang. And then the next, 12 months, 18 months, it will just wash out. For many industries, for many people lost lives. So probably prayers to all those people who are not here with us, who have lost their lives. I'm sure in your circle also, you must have had many people, your near and dear ones, but any which ways. Uncertain times, how do you really deal with those uncertain times defines who you can become. The next point is communication. Now, communication is something a lot of times लोगों को लगता है यार communication का मतलब अंग्रेजी है. But communication is much beyond that. Communication is not just अंग्रेजी. It is about how effective you can become in terms of articulating, in terms of presenting yourself, in terms of your verbal and non-verbal skills, in terms of your hand gestures, like the way you can see I'm just folding my hand like this. In terms of how confident you are, how confidently you can do handshake, all those little things are part of communication. How do you really create great impact in the lives of people? It is by having genuine conversation. When you do genuine conversation, you establish yourself. Like, for example, have you observed a lot of times you keep meeting strangers in different environments? हम कोई social function में गए, personal function में गए, maybe as part of the institution, when we interact with people, how you interact with people, they will immediately be in a position to understand, saying, are you here to establish genuine conversation? Because when you establish genuine conversation, you really establish relationship for life, and that can take you to a whole new level when it comes to communication also. The other point is, a lot of times people end up giving advices to people as part of the communication. So never give just simple advices, always share your experience, because when you share your experiences are valued, because those experiences are unique. No one can pick up those experiences from anyone else. I hope you guys have your pen and paper, your notepad and pen ready. Please make notes wherever you think it's relevant for you, so that you are able to utilize the finest elements from this discussion. Okay, so always remember, before you start giving advices, share your experience, because when you get advice, people might think, "Arey yaar, ye to gyan de raha hai. Oh, this guy is just talking, from his own this thing." But when you give experience, you say that, okay, when I was in this situation, this is what happened with me. Probably you might like to take some caution here. And that is where you start to get valued a lot more. The third important piece is shutdown. Now, like the way we shut down our computer every single day, a lot of times you might miss out, that's fine. But when you shut down your computer every single day, you are ideally supposed to shut down, by the way. Same thing should happen with all of us as human beings as well, which means we have to take breaks. And break for me is being blissful, revitalize yourself by doing variety of different things, enrich yourself with knowledge by engaging with people. It is like just as good as picking up the phone call. Like, if I can see Sunit's video here, if Sunit is my friend and Sunit is part of my network, I'll call up Sunit. Hey Sunit, happy birthday. Sunit, how will you feel? Will that bring a smile on your face, Sunit? It will, right? So Sunit, I can see Sunit smiling. Okay, so it'll bring a smile, right? So in the world where there's so much of digitization, people just want to send messages over WhatsApp, over other social media platforms. When you enrich yourself by talking to people, it carries a different weight and meaning. When you start to become appreciative, like for example, today to have this event, just imagine the quantum of effort that Professor Bhagyashree Pandey, Ashna, and the entire team of MIT HD must have really gone through over the last few weeks. Okay, so if you are just being appreciative about their efforts, they will also feel, saying, okay, you are someone who brings in so much of empathy. I remember my previous speaker, she actually spoke about empathy also as part of our discussion. I think Rinku spoke about empathy. So that's such an important one. And then finally, being kind-hearted. Being kind-hearted is so important, because you are then in a position to relate and understand with other people. Let me come to the fourth element. The fourth element here, which is comfort zone. You have to keep challenging yourself. Let me give you my own classic example. I have taken umpteen number of career pivots in my life, and every time that I've taken those career pivots, I have moved a notch higher in my career, because those have taken me to a whole new level. I used to be an awesome public speaker right in my school, right in my high school days. But after that, I had not spoken on a public platform for a good 10 years. And then on the 11th year, when I entered the podium, I was like shaking, man, will I be able to really speak? Just imagine my own condition. I fumbled, I failed, but then I rose again. And that's the power that we all have as human beings, that you always have to walk that extra mile. That's extremely important. Fifth element, skills. Now, Rinku also spoke about, continued learning. I am a firm believer of continued learning. I always believe that it is your own learnings which can take you places. So what are your existing skills? What are the future skills that you want to, imbibe into yourself? How often do you reflect into all of them? So reflection is important. For example, you want to change your career trajectory? No problem, do that. But then also understand what is it that can help you thrive into the new world that you want to get into. Okay, so that's important. Okay, I come here. Second last element here is authenticity. So instead of faking, start owning your path. Why do I really say faking? Because a lot of times in the social media world, people want to saying, okay, I've got this many followers, I've got this, I've got that. A lot of times people might just say something which they actually not are. They in reality, they are not the same. So you have to own your authenticity. The more authentic you become, the more you are in control of yourself, because you don't have to really showcase. You are your natural self. And just imagine what is the kind of power that it will really carry for you. You will start to have a voice of your own, and that is what is extremely important. The last one, under many aspects. So this is the section where I was trying to take you into a journey of what differentiates people. I'm yet to enter into the real core. This is just a teaser, guys. So the last one here is ownership, which means every single thing that you take up at work, are you really owning it up, or are you playing a football match? So what do I really mean by football match? मैं फुटबॉल मैच के एग्जांपल से मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि यार आपके पास आया, आपने मेल फॉरवर्ड कर दिया, ओ माय जॉब इज डन. बट ओनिंग इज समथिंग डिफरेंट. Someone from a remote distance, maybe someone who is not working in the head office, or someone who is working in the regional office, you must have observed that when you call the head office people, a lot of times you don't get clear answers. Or if you are someone who is working in the head office, people from the regional offices, people from the local city offices, when they call you, or from the field when they call you, and when they don't get clarity every time that they follow up with you, which means when you committed something, when you are not able to do that, and that is where it becomes a huge challenge, because you, without even realizing mindfully that you are not owning it up, you are actually giving it away on a platter, right? You're giving it away on a platter. Okay, so at this juncture, let me take a quick pause. Happy to answer any questions at this stage. And guys, in my session, let it be free flowing. You can raise your hands, you can post your questions. Are there any questions so far? If you guys are enjoying it so far, just write the word enjoy in the chat box. Let me just see if there's any questions. Enjoy. Sanjay says enjoy. Afia says enjoy. Ashwita says enjoy. Samir, enjoy. Dhiren. Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Keep it flowing, guys. Keep it flowing. Okay, are there any questions so far that you people have in your mind? Let me share one very important thing with respect to question. There are over 200 people here on this call, which is awesome. What is very important is that asking no questions is one of the most foolish thing. Never think that यार मेरा क्वेश्चन ऐसा है, लोग क्या सोचेंगे, बाकी लोगों को क्या लगेगा, यार ये क्या सिली जैसा क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है. This is such a foolish question. So never think like that, huh? So if you have a question, feel free to ask, because you never know how many people you will end up inspiring as by virtue of asking your own question. Okay, in the meanwhile, I think I had seen some question flowing here. How to handle public dealing? So Jyoti, thank you so much for asking this question. So Jyoti, how to handle public dealing? We are going to cover a lot of aspects as part of this session, Jyoti. So park this question towards the end. If you still don't get an answer, although I'll try to imbibe the answer to this question during the course of the session, but if you still don't get an answer, feel free to raise this question again. I hope that's okay, Jyoti, with you. Okay, this is the only question that I've seen so far. You are a good speaker. Thank you so much, Sanjay Makwana, for making my day. Riya Kumari, very much enjoying. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Could you share another experience with our advice? Could we share another experience? Yeah, you can. No problem. I am planning career change. Want to explore AI related, how to deal with politics at workplace. Great energy. Thank you so much, Jobin. Many times you end up taking more responsibilities. How to deal with politics at workplace? Focus on your work. You start, see, when you start enjoying politics, you become part of the politics, guys. Focus on your work. Okay, the more you are see, मैं आपको एक simple example देता हूँ. Every time that you see people who are late sitters at office, people who are sitting till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at office, they want to make their bosses happy. All that is fine, but all that is not going to help in the long term. What if the bosses change? Then what will happen? So instead of doing all of those things, maintain a work-life balance by coming to office on time, leaving office on time. You can delay some days, that's okay. But I'm saying have a life beyond work. And then what will happen in the process, guys? This is extremely important. When you don't entertain dirty politics, when you stop cribbing about other people, when you stop criticizing other people, that is where you start uplifting yourself. अगर आपको अपने आप को ऊंचा करना है ना, तो start uplifting yourself by not participating in the politics. Whosoever had asked this question, I hope I've been able to do some justice to your question. I think there are tons of other questions that have come after that. So I hope I've got. Prabhu Jagan says vibrant session. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Really appreciate your kindness. By the way, you have these reaction buttons at the bottom. Just after share screen, you can use reaction also. Can we avoid politics by getting remote work? Dinesh, absolutely you can. You can. There's no problem. You have to follow a similar route. Remote has its own challenge, but you can. Okay, with this, thank you so much for your participation. Let me now, it's time for me to move into the third leg of our discussion. So I am back here again. After many aspects, now guys, this is where we are getting the core. I want to ask everyone, do you have a pen and paper ready? Are you guys making notes? If yes, just type yes. Yeah, just type MN, making notes. So I understand. Okay, Jyoti says yes. Dhiren says no. Dhiren, I'm going to take a 30 seconds pause. Please go ahead, go and get a notepad and pen. And even a single person says no, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. So the next 30 seconds is yours. Please get a notepad and pen. I want you guys. Otherwise, ये session में ये होगा. मैंने एक कान से सुना, दूसरे कान से बाहर. No, Professor Pandey doesn't want this. MIT SD team, they don't want this to happen. They want you to imbibe the learnings deeper. So please take a 30 seconds break and come back. I am right here. Okay, is everyone ready? Just type MN in the chat box. Is everyone ready? Yes. Okay, awesome, awesome. So with your due permission, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I hope you people are okay with that. So thank you so much. I'll just take my energy booster this morning. Thank you so much. Oh, okay, let's just get going into the core enablers. So what really are the core enablers? So core enablers is what you really see on the screen. Okay, I hope the screen is visible to everyone. Okay, so the first core enablers is intellectual quotient. Okay, there are 4 core enablers that we are going to discuss today. The first one is IQ, then EQ, then SQ, and then MQ. Now, why is IQ so important? And this is going to be completely interactive, guys. Huh? Why do you think IQ is important? Some comments in the chat box. Thank you so much, Pavan, for encouraging me to have my coffee. Okay, really appreciate that. So just write in the chat box why IQ is important. First of all, is IQ important? And if yes, why? Is it important? Okay, Yogita says yes. In order to understand, okay, it helps. Sanjay says yes. To assess any situation rationally. Yes, Robin, completely agree with you. For thinking right and manage situations, absolutely. Prachi says yes. Amazing. IQ helps making ambiguous situation. Okay, so ambiguous in the sense, आप ये बोलना चाहते हो that ambiguity जब रहती है तो IQ helps in taking you rational decisions. Control ourselves, yes, manage situations. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let me just go deeper into this entire world of IQ. Now, the deeper version is IQ का genesis क्या है? When has IQ really started and what is the backstory of IQ? Agar aap, if you go back to your parents' school days, or if you go, so there are many people with incredible years of experience. For all of you, people who have over 15 years of experience here, you can relate your own young days. School में क्या होता था उस जमाने में? School में ये होता था that what is the kind of marks you're getting? Basis the kind of marks you were getting, you were being rated, saying, okay, you are good, you come first in the class, blah, blah, blah. All of those things were happening. So this is what we have experienced for decades. Okay. So IQ was considered as the metric for success. Okay. Metric of success. So chahe wo school ho, chahe high school ho, chahe college ho, yeah, for example, workplace also. They always used to see, okay, what is the kind of scores you have got, irrespective of anything to do with your behavioral attributes. Now, I hope everyone is able to read and relate to this. So I gave you that example of what used to happen decades ago. Decades ago, this was the only route to measure individuals. However, you know, a lot of you also answered this question saying IQ helps you to get updated, what's happening in the industry. It also helps you to measure rationality, which means data centricity. Aapko kuch bhi analyze karna hai, you can use your mind rationally to figure out situations. IQ also helps you to develop your own solution centricity, which means if there are problems, how do you figure out options to different problems and figure out solutions to those problems. So that is the world of IQ. Okay, now let me move to the next level. What happened with the emergence of EQ? Uske baad aaya EQ. What happened in the 90s? Something else came up, and that was the power of emotions. Okay, what happens with the power of emotions? There started a time when there was a transition, guys, from IQ to EQ. Why was the transition very important? Because organizations realized that if you have to be a real human, you have to bring in the element of emotions. You just can't measure everything basis hardcore metric. And that is where the transition started to happen from IQ to EQ. So I gave you that example of 1990s. So that is when emotional intelligence, or so to say EQ, they started to become a buzzword. It started to appear in newspapers. There were plethora of research that started to happen in this area. And you see what really happened. Uh, People started to share that we need to learn how to manage our emotions, because this became more important. How individuals treated individuals in the workplace started to gain a lot of significance and momentum. And that became very, very important. Now, so I'm saying fast forward to today, do you see that EQ is such an important element today? Why? Because it helps in the engagement of others. When I'm saying engaging with others, it is never about sympathy. It's always about empathy. It is about you wearing the other individual's shoes. For example, I worked with both the worlds. I worked very closely with C-suite professionals, which means CEOs, CXOs, and I've also dealt with people, and I also deal with people who are working in the sales role in the field, which means पीछे बैग लगा के उनको दुकान to दुकान जाना पड़ता है माल बेचने के लिए या डिस्कस करने के लिए, variety of different things. So that is where empathy and compassion holds deep significance. So it is about understanding and relating with people as to what their situation is and all of that stuff. So compassion brings what? Compassion brings an emotional response, and that is where I just gave you this example of empathy with sympathy. Sympathy mein kya hota hai? You are expressing pity to people, and that is what people don't want. Even if you today discuss with a differently abled कौन होते हैं? जो भी specially abled है, जिसको थोड़ी सी कोई भी तकलीफ है ना उनके शरीर में, they come under the category to an extent. It is not 100%, but to an extent, they might come under the category of specially abled. Like, for example, I deal with a lot of specially abled, students as well. So there is also association of singers who are specially abled people. So all that they want is empathy. Yeah, you give us a fair opportunity, we will perform at our best. And that is where your understanding. So workplace quotient ka, this second element is again a very, very important element, that if you have to thrive at your workplace, okay, you got to imbibe into yourself the level of understanding. Samne wala kitna bhi galat ho, you have to give that benefit of doubt that this individual at least will be 10% right, if not more. You might be 100% right, no one is debating that, but the other individual can at least be 10% right. If you start to look at things from that angle, your entire spectrum will change. So the theme of this conference is spectrum. Let me use the word spectrum. The spectrum, the view, the lens with which you see things is going to change completely. And that is where this aspect becomes extremely important. Okay. The third element here under empathy is socializing. Now, socializing is, I've already built that concept with you in the previous vertical, which is engaging with people beyond your workplace. Now, are you associated with any volunteering organization, or how often do you speak to your family, to your relatives, to your near and dear ones, to your friends? It is not about yaar usne call nahi kiya to maine bhi call nahi kiya. It can never be like that. You can just call and say hello, how are you doing? I was remembering you today and I just thought of saying hello. What it will do to you is not something that you will realize at the surface level. Something is happening deep inside. It gives you a dopamine hit in your brain. Your neurons inside your brain, your neuron cells start to get activated, saying, okay, you have a feeling of happiness. Your hormone generates a feeling of happiness because you start to look beyond work. You start to socialize with people in real life. Okay. The next element is acceptance. Now, acceptance is very important. कि हमेशा हम जैसा सोचते हैं वैसा नहीं होगा. For example, you speak to someone at your workplace. You expect the individual X to do that work. The individual X says, no, I will not be able to do. How do you really deal with that scenario then? It is quite possible that the individual has not been able to do it. It's fine. You have to still respect and understand that individual. You might hold a particular opinion, which is fine, but you have to also equally respect that individual. And what is it that you should do in that scenario? Do you react or do you respond? You always have that choice. Do you accept or do you defend? Do you look behind or do you look beyond? See, you have to express your viewpoint. There's no harm in expressing your viewpoint. But while you are expressing those viewpoints, always understand. And see, what happens is, as human beings, our voice, our tone, our pitch, all of that can keep going up and down, which is absolutely fine. But always maintain decorum of the language, of the kind of words that you use, because the kind of language and words can work like magic. Yes, a lot of times we see that people are doing unfair things. That's absolutely fine. But are you doing things in fairness? That is what is important. Okay. So this is what is extremely important at this stage. You see this example, saying things in the right manner. This why do I really give importance to this? Because the real reason why I give importance to this is that one word, impact. Let me ask you this question. Do you also equally believe that this word impact is what you want to create in your life? Just write the word impact in the chat box if you genuinely feel that you want to create impact in real life. Just write the word impact in the chat box. Let me share with you that your journey of impact has already started. The fact that you are writing here, it is going deeper inside your mind. It is going deeper here because you have started to feel that you are here to create an impact. Somebody has loaded a whiteboard. Ashna, can you look into this? I haven't really loaded one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. I haven't loaded, yeah.
Requesting student, yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you all believe that impacting people around you is important. But let me also share with you something even more important. You want to impact people around you. But what about impacting yourself? You have to first impact your own self. आपको पहले अपने जीवन में impact लाना पड़ेगा before you start to think about impacting other people. And how do you really bring impact in your own life? And that is where this entire art and science of workplace quotient typically comes in. Okay, so is everyone clear so far? Are there any questions? Let me take a quick pause. किसी का कोई सवाल है अभी तक हमने जो कवर किया उसको लेकर? Okay, I'm assuming that there are no questions. Okay, so you guys are absolutely awesome and amazing because you are the kind of audience that people will always enjoy with. Okay, so moving to the next element under emotions is better engagement level within the teams. So क्या होता है when your emotional quotient is high, when you are someone who understands and who relates with people, you get enhanced levels of collaboration. Let me give you a classic example. Suppose आपकी team है, team में 5 लोग हैं, and one girl is pregnant. Okay, maybe she's pregnant with 1 month, which is fine. But are you able to cater to her needs? Okay, are you leaving her alone or are you taking her along in the journey by customizing your objective basis her needs? The moment you customize, she will start to feel a lot more involved. Let me take another example. There's a fresher in the team. Now there are a lot of freshers here. There's a fresher in the team and the rest of the team members are all experienced people. How do you then relate and connect with that fresher so that that fresher is not left out? That fresher feels that, okay, I'm equally part of the team and I'm being, taken care of. इतने सारे jargon है, but no one is leaving me alone. कोई मुझे अकेला छोड़ के नहीं जा रहा है. Everyone is taking me along. And that is where emotions can work like magic, guys. So give importance to this particular element. And then lastly, under emotions, आपके पास जितने skills हैं, देखो, today as we speak, you might be having X number of skills within you. Put your skills to the best possible use. And that is where emotional intelligence, emotional quotient becomes very important because you have to keep sharpening your edge. जैसे हम कोई भी चीज को हम sharpen करते हैं ना, it is like are practicing. Suppose you want to be a marathoner. Marathoner for full marathon needs 42 kilometers run. Now आप 42 किलोमीटर एक दिन में तो नहीं कर सकते. First day you will do say 500 meters, 700 meters, 250 meters, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer. That's how the journey grows. And that is what is all about sharpening your edges. People who do Ironman, they travel across the world. आप लोगों ने भी सुना होगा न्यूज़पेपर पे, अलग-अलग मीडिया के माध्यम से. What is Ironman? It is a combination of 3 different activities. But just imagine what goes behind this. There is a very sharp mindset that goes. So emotional intelligence is first about building that mindset that I want to understand other people. Okay, so I hope this part is very, very clear. We have invested a lot of time understanding emotional quotient, because guys, this is very, very important, and this is the right foundation for you. Okay, Sanjay Makwana says your friend is Iron Man. Okay, I understand. Asking opinion, absolutely. Okay, are they okay. So someone said still no. I couldn't understand what was that still no for. Are there any comments? Sandeep, you said still no. So are there any questions, Sandeep, or can I move ahead? If there are no questions, I'll just move ahead. If there are any questions, feel free to write back again. Okay, let me move to the third element. The third element is spiritual quotient. Now, spiritual quotient hai kya? Spiritual quotient is the active summation of what you have seen in the previous 2 elements, which is IQ and EQ. Intelligent quotient and emotional quotient का ये summation है. Spiritual quotient, you can say it's a most fundamental form of intelligence. इसको हम fundamental form of intelligence क्यों कहते हैं? One of the primary reason for that is because spiritual quotient or spiritual intelligence, it helps you to get meaning, vision and value in life. आपको याद है शुरू में मैंने इकिगाई के बारे में बात की थी. If you have to figure out your ikigai, if you have to figure out your purpose in life, you have to sooner or later get associated with the world of spiritual intelligence. Now, the next question can be, अच्छा आपने बता तो दिया ये there's something called SQ, but हम करें कैसे? What is it that we should do about it? Okay, Tejas says, how can we convince the people who is intentionally avoiding participation in the activities? See, Tejas, one of the classic ways to do that is by understanding, by talking to them, by having genuine conversations. Until and unless you have genuine conversations, you can never be able to crack that bit. Let me also share with you, Tejas, to your point, today one of the big struggle that organizations are having is that a lot of activities are driven via email. Are there real conversations happening, say by human resources team with real human beings? They are missing out. If people start to communicate openly with transparency with people, saying, okay, what is it that you want? How can we help you? A lot of magic can happen there. Okay, I hope that helps. So with this, let me now give you the roots to spiritual quotient. कि आपके पास क्या roots है, क्या माध्यम है? Okay, the roots are here that you can see. The roots are yoga, the roots are meditation. Now, a lot of people have always asked me in my mentoring session, saying, हम कैसे meditation करें? हमसे तो होता ही नहीं है. जैसे 1 minute आंख बंद करते हैं, the moment we close our eyes for 1 minute, our mind starts to wander. We go from all the way from Mumbai to Honolulu. So my simple answer to that point is, just close your eyes, let the thoughts flow. Don't worry about anything. If you just close your eyes and allow your thoughts to flow, you never know over a period of time what is the kind of impact that you can create. Okay, follow your spiritual discourses. आप जो भी religions, caste, या whatever you want to follow, your parents follow, just follow them. Writing your diary that you are grateful for. See, I have been writing my gratitude diary for over 1100 days now, and I can't tell you how grateful I am. Now, today in my diary, MIT SD, each one of you are going to enter my diary today because I'm spending my time with each one of you here. So you can be grateful for the pillow that you get to sleep with. Okay, you can be grateful for the mobile phone that's there in your hand. Okay, you can be grateful for that sabji wala who delivers vegetable to your home or you are able to buy. You can be grateful for that milk guy who delivers milk at your home. You can be grateful for that newspaper vendor. So the moment you start to feel grateful, you start to get attracted towards spirituality in so many different ways. Then the next element is be in acceptance mode. A lot of times, we land up criticizing other people. Okay, so criticizing other people without even realizing that we also have our tons of things to accept. So when you're sitting in appraisal, when your boss or your line manager or your peer or your leader is giving you feedback, accept it openly, saying, yes, I may have done this mistake, let me learn. So I'm a firm believer of constructive criticism. That is what you can see that I've written. I believe in this. I have already been benefiting from this for years together. you might also benefit. That's my suggestion to you. And then always be in awareness mode. So when you are in awareness mode, you will also get to understand your own strengths and weaknesses. And the moment you start to understand your own strengths and weaknesses, what it can do to you is you will start to relate with yourself in a much better manner. Okay, Tejas says thank you. Sarita Sujata says we may sleep then. Okay, gratitude brings like attract like attract like. Criticism in a positive way is helpful. Okay, yeah, thanks so much for your comments. Okay, let me now move to the fourth element. Now, just checking if this is all clear. Okay, just write AC in the chat box, which means all clear so far. And these three elements are super clear to you. Just write AC in the chat box. AC is all clear. Okay, Prabhu, Madhu, Vrinda, Dinesh. Okay, so you guys are super clear. Thank you so much for your active engagement. Now, this is like dopamine to me, because I know that whatever we are discussing here in this session, this valuable time that MIT SD team has given to all of us, this time is getting very well utilized because you guys are taking active interest. Okay, AC, keep it flowing, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let me move to the fourth element here. This was our core enablers. This is the core of the discussion that we are having today. So the mental quotient is all about wellness. Now, let me share with you a backstory to this. Prior to the pandemic, people's importance to wellness was very, very low, especially in our country. Not just in our country, I would say across. What happened after pandemic? There's a sea change. बहुत बड़ा परिवर्तन हुआ है हमारे देश में. Now, one of the classic example is workplaces, leaders and HR to accept that there's something called, mental wellness, या mental health. इसका acceptance बहुत ही कम था पहले. But today it is all-time high. Organizations are getting people to talk about mental health, mental wellness. Okay, I have done many sessions connected to mental health, mental wellness. I keep talking about it in different platforms, and I'm going to talk about it now also with you, that today this is a real challenge. Why this is a real challenge? Because one of the clear reasons is what I've spilled the beans earlier itself. One of the clear reasons is that people are not looking at themselves beyond just work. You got to look at so many different facets of life. Appreciate nature, appreciate the little joys in life. Like for example, look at this. I'll give you a classic example. If you go on my LinkedIn, by the way, I encourage all of you guys to follow me on LinkedIn, because you'll get tons of content from my profile on LinkedIn. This is what Times of India sent me. There was a contest a couple of weeks ago, which that contest was what makes us one. I shared my response with them, and they in turn shared a very beautiful beautiful card with me, a card of gratitude with me, which has got some freebies and stuff like that. Now, this is joy to me. Now, to many people, this might just be a card, but this is not just a card for me. This card is happiness to me. Why? Because I earn that happiness for myself. Now, each one of us have that happiness in control of you. It depends whether you want to enjoy that happiness or not. So my encouragement to each one of you this morning is, bring back your mojo. Bring that control of happiness into yourself. The moment you bring that happiness, आपकी happiness जो किसी और के हाथ में थी, वो आपने अपने control में कर ली. You will start to thrive at your workplace. You will start to take a lot more control of things which are in your control, instead of controlling someone else's behavior. Does that make sense? Just write 100 and MS in the chat box. 100 MS means 100% makes sense. Just write 100 MS. Shamal says 100 MS. Ashmita says 100 MS. 110 MS. Okay, I love that. 100 MS, 100% makes sense. So 100 MS, Tejas says 100 MS, KK, Raghu, Ram says 100 MS, Sujata 100 MS, Sakshi says 100 MS, Siddhi says 100 MS. So you just imagine how much you can become in control of your own self. And guys, let me tell you that this is where the real magic is. And now let me go deeper into the world of wellness. So a clear example is, get some sunlight in the morning. Guys, this is very underrated. आपने अपने दादा से, अपने माता पिता से सुना होगा. आप हर दिन ये न्यूज़पेपर्स में पढ़ते हो, अपने बच्चों से सुनते होगे, whoever is married, and people who are freshers also here. Getting some sunlight in the morning is very important, because किसी ने क्वेश्चन भी पूछा था चैट बॉक्स में, how do we get dopamine? सुबह वॉक करना शुरू कर दीजिए, you will start to get dopamine. Start having positive thoughts, you will start to get dopamine. हर दिन एक जन को बर्थडे विश करना शुरू कर दीजिए, you will start to get dopamine. These are some clear executable metrics, and let me tell you, these are some $1 million ideas that I share only in my paid mentoring sessions, my mentoring sessions, which run for a single session to long-term sessions. I generally share these ideas there, but here, as part of this session, as part of a very special session invited by MIT SD, all of these things are for you. Get some sunlight. I can tell you that you can never underrate this. Spend time with nature. Do little exercise. You don't have time, don't worry. 5 minute to hai. 5 minute translates to just 60 into 5, 300 seconds. That's all. न्यूज़पेपर के 2 पन्ने पलटने में आपको 300 सेकंड लग जाते हैं. सुबह सुबह मोबाइल फोन खोल के व्हाट्सएप के 4 चैट पढ़ने में 300 सेकंड निकल जाते हैं. डोंट डू दैट. स्पेंड 5 मिनट्स डूइंग एक्सरसाइज. बी अ लर्नर. The keynote speaker spoke about continuous improvement, continuous learning. I had already shared with you that I'm a firm believer of continuous learning. I have continuously been improving myself over the years. Last year, when Niti Aayog recognized me as one amongst the top 35 mentors in India, it was such a huge accolade for me, and it was testimony of how I have been taking career pivots. More than the accolade, it is about moving in the right path, and that is what is important for each one of us as human beings. Okay, change management. Now, change management is not just a term. इसको आप ऐसा मत समझिए कि ये term है. ये term नहीं है. This is for real. Now, today, what we are doing today, the way we are working today, that ways of working are going to change completely in the next 5 years. So what does it mean? Is it going to encourage job losses? No. Job loss unke liye who are not able to be part of that change. But if you are someone who is part of that change, and the fact that you are part of this MIT SD program, that itself is testimony to the fact that you are open to change management. And because you are part of this prestigious program, that speaks tons of you. Now, what is very important is what you are going to implement from this program. आप जितनी learning इस program से draw करके implement करेंगे, that is what is going to bring the real magic to all of you and to your lives. Inculcate the practice of nurturing. Let me just build this picture bigger, in a bigger manner. Now, आप देखो ये picture में आपको क्या देखने को मिलता है. There are tons of things that you can do. आप plantation कर सकते हैं, आप कपड़े सिलाई कर सकते हैं, whatever brings you joy. आप ताश खेल सकते हैं, आप म्यूजिक सुन सकते हैं, आप फिशिंग पे जा सकते हैं. You can be a public speaker, like the way I have become a public speaker today. You can enjoy playing with tools. So to each their own. I am not saying कि आपको यही करना है. What is it that you want to do? Just do that. You don't have to copy anyone else, guys. Just do what brings you joy. The moment you start to become yourself, that is where your workplace quotient is going to rise significantly, and you'll not even realize. That is the day you'll remember saying, okay, there was this speaker who had come in MIT SD session and he had spoken about it. And I would love to hear that story from you. And I would love to invite you to my audio live sessions that I keep happening on LinkedIn. I would love to have you as a guest speaker there. So that's what is very important. Pursuing a passion. Having a passion is very, very important. So what is the passion that you pursue? Choti cheez se start kariye. Don't worry whether you had it or you don't have it. You can still have it today. So at this junction, let me ask you, what is your passion? Just write in the chat box what has been your passion. I want to read what is your passion. KKV Raghuram says my LinkedIn ID. So if you search my name Vivek Khandelwal on LinkedIn, Vivek Khandelwal mentor, my profile will come on the top there as part of the search engine optimization. So you can search there, and I'm any which way is going to share. So traveling, music, reading, gardening, playing cricket, singing, photography. My hobby and passion is singing, awesome music, traveling, learning something new, doing anchoring, dress designing, creating video. Okay, Afia Khan, thank you so much. You have already been following me. I also love to play badminton. Amazing. Plantation, movies, dance and drama, stand-up comedy. Let me share with you. To all those people who have not written what are their hobbies, let me share with you that you can still have your hobbies here, your passions here that brings you joy. Don't worry about whether you have done it or not in the past. And the reason I'm saying that is because I understand you. I have been dealing with your world, very, very closely, and I relate to you. Okay, so do people want something more? Let me ask this question. It's 10:30 now. We still have time. Do people want something more? Just type 100 in the chat box if you guys want more. Just type 100 in the chat box. Okay, Professor Pandey, your students are asking for more. Should I continue, Professor Pandey?
Yes, sir, we are going to have our session till
No, I know,
10:45.
I know, but I just want to check. Can I
Yes,
just
yes,
continue as it
yes,
is?
yes, yes,
Or
yes, sir.
okay,
Definitely.
okay, okay, okay.
Definitely.
Just wanted to check that are people wanting to have question answers, or I can just continue, because I've been giving opportunities to people to keep asking questions in
Yes,
the
yes,
intermittent period as well.
definitely.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, guys. Let me bring some more recipes for you here, and this is the recipe of how you can really thrive at work. Okay, so to thrive at work and not just survive, I'm using the word thrive at work and not just survive. What do you think this should really be? So this should be, let me just bring all the elements that we have related so far. So while IQ does this for you, okay, what happens is EQ does something else. I'm not reading the words here, this is for you to just understand. EQ recognizes emotions in yourself and others, and it also brings in a lot of awareness. हमने वो examples discuss किए थे ना, that how you can relate and connect with your surroundings. The moment you relate and connect with your surroundings, what happens is your surroundings guides you to take decisions in an appropriate manner. And अगर आपको ध्यान हो तो session के शुरुआती phase में, when we had started this session, I had spoken about balancing. What balancing does is it motivates you, it uplifts you, it develops your interest. Because just imagine, if you start reaching your home every day at 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m., even after dinner, you'll have time. How are you utilizing your time? Are you only watching OTT, or are you doing something else? What is that something else that you are doing or that you want to do? That's something for you to figure out. Okay, so this is very, very important. With this in the background, let's get deeper into how you can do all of these things. What is it that you need to have within yourself to get this? Okay, so here is the recipe for that. You got to become someone who spreads positivity around. And now, once again, let me nail it on the head to all those people who have this question saying, "Arey, our office mein to bahut politics hai. Hum jahan rehte hain, wahan bahut politics hai." Can you be the positive change agent in all of those surroundings? When you are a positive change agent, you will start to look at things from a positive frame of mind rather than from the negative frame of mind. जैसे ही आप positive angle से देखते हैं, you start to spread the goodness around rather than only negativity. I'm not saying that you shouldn't speak about things that are not going wrong. मैं ये कभी भी नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. All I'm saying is start to identify positive things that are also happening. Because people who only start to criticize, they only get to see that lens. So don't become that lens. You start to build saying, okay, these are the set of challenges that we are facing. These are things that are not right, but these are things that are right. Okay. You have to become someone who believes in continuous development, which means you are testing your ability to think critically, analyze different scenarios to a given problem. Okay, when you start to analyze different scenarios to a given problem, what happens? You are developing your problem solving ability and your critical thinking ability. आपको ये image नजर आ रही होगी, इस image में 5 अलग-अलग element है. Okay, so what is it that these 5 elements are teaching you? These 5 elements are teaching you about your ability to develop yourself at a holistic level. आपको थोड़ा research करना भी पड़ेगा. You have to start thinking creatively, which means जो solutions पहले से चले आ रहे हैं, जो परिपाटी पहले से चली आ रही है, you need not just follow that. You can create something new. You can start to develop something new. All of those things can help you in arriving at the right solutions, and that is what can be very, very important for you. Okay, develop your self concept. You have to become someone who is there to develop your self concept. Now, what exactly is self concept? Self concept is when you start to see your own self from the right image, from the right ideas, with the right self esteem. When you don't downgrade your own self. Like, for example, if you every morning when you start your day, when you start to look at yourself and say, "Hey, I am awesome, I am brilliant, I am amazing, I am fabulous. This is gonna be the finest day of my life." What is it that you're doing? किसी ने सवाल पूछा था चैट बॉक्स में, how do you get dopamine? These are the set of things, guys, that is going to hit dopamine in your brain. It'll activate your neurons in the right fashion. You will start to believe in your own self. Despite having failures in your life, you will still have a new energy in your life to develop something new for yourself, and that can work like magic. Okay, you got to become someone who is both responsible and respectful. How do you become responsible? You actually become responsible by ensuring that no one does follow up with you. कोई काम आपने लिया है, जिम्मेदारी ली है, तो you take that work to conclusion, you take that work to fulfillment, and that is what is extremely important. And then you also ensure that you never compromise when it comes to respect. What do I really mean by this? Let me just share a real life example. In the early years of my career, I had the fortune of working with a great leader. He was, you can say that he was like the Narayana Murthy of retail as an industry. I learned one very important trait or skill or whatever, it could be a combination of both trait as well as a skill. He exhibited a high degree of empathy, and he exhibited a huge degree of humanness. His treatment to people with CEOs of his level and his treatment with housekeeping guy who used to serve him water was exactly the same. And since then, I am carrying exactly the same thing within myself. I talk to people alike. So whether it's a CEO or someone who is housekeeping guy, I treat both of them in the same fashion. I treat them first as human beings, then by their designation. Okay, so this has helped me. It might be helpful to you. Leaving this thought for you to judge for yourself. What do you think? How it can be of help to you? You got to become someone who exhibits high degree of ownership, because ownership is not just in words. Ownership, as you can see, it's a combination of so many different things. It's a combination of your attitude, your behavior, the action that you take, and your action has to be solution oriented. What is the kind of results it brings? And results se aata hai performance. And it's a vicious cycle that you see. You become part of that cycle, and becoming part of that cycle is extremely important, because that is what brings you the right degree of reputation. Okay, you got to be a great listener. The moment you start to become a great listener, you start to activate yourself at so many different levels. And how do you become a great listener? Now you become a great listener by paying attention, by understanding without judging any individual. So say, for example, the previous speaker spoke about so many things. If any of you had already known her, you would start to judge her, saying, okay, this is what she's going to speak, it's gonna go like this, that, all of those things. No. So just understand that if someone is speaking, and she had set the context beautifully by saying that don't get into judgment, understand, reflect what is your current situation, and then paraphrase in your own words to clarify. Maybe you have a different understanding, but the speaker wanted to say things differently. If you haven't been able to understand, clarify. And this is what happens in our work life every single day. आप में से कई लोग ऐसे होंगे who are dealing with clients. Many of you might be dealing with individuals, with internal stakeholders, junior to you, senior to you. So depending upon whosoever you are dealing with, understand whether they are able to relate to you, connect with you at a deeper level or not. That's extremely important. The next point is, are you someone who is proactive or are you someone who is reactive? दोनों ही वर्ल्ड में बहुत बड़ा अंतर है between becoming a proactive individual and a reactive individual. People who are proactive, what happens? आज प्रॉब्लम है, चलो यार अभी आज प्रॉब्लम है, let's आज प्रॉब्लम है, let's identify. So these people start to identify the problem beforehand, and that's why you see that they nurture what's going to happen in future. They start thinking now. But people who are reactive, what happens? You can see the classic cases of what our world is facing today: climate change, environment problems, okay, water problems. All of those things are problems for which all of us, each one of us, are equally responsible. By not taking care of our environment, by littering our environment, it is not to say कि यार सब कुछ government का काम है. No, that's not really true. All of us are equally responsible. Are we really doing our bit? क्या हमारे हाथ में जो है, क्या हम वो कर रहे हैं? That is what is extremely important. So let's just keep that particular element in mind. Someone who exhibits curiosity, that's very, very important. Are you exhibiting curiosity? If you are exhibiting curiosity, then how are you exhibiting curiosity? Are you asking question like, आज मैंने देखा आप में से कई लोग सवाल पूछ रहे थे, कई लोगों ने सवाल पूछा, and we are going to have question answer session, and I would encourage you people to ask questions. I would encourage you people to relate and connect, and then bring these elements into your own real life, because that is where you guys are going to bring in a lot of value from the discussion. Someone who is agile. Now हमने change management के बारे में बात की, learning agility के बारे में बात की. Now just look at this. Someone who is agile, that individual will continue to learn. See, pictures speak 1,000 words. हमने ये हमेशा हमारे school days में भी सुना है. Pictures speak 1,000 words. Are pictures really speaking to you? If they are, how are you relating and connecting with them? And then someone whose ability to rise through failures is very important. तो failure तो जीवन में आते जाते रहेंगे. Are you someone who has the tenacity, has the ability, has the appetite, has the attitude to accept failures and then rise above them? That is where your resilient quotient will start to develop. Okay, so that is what is extremely important. Okay, at this junction, let me ask: is everyone clear so far? Is everyone super clear so far? Let me just stop, take a quick pause here, and let me ask questions to you. Is everyone clear so far? Empathy, resilience, sir. I want hear more agile from you. Okay. Politics is not a bad thing. No, I'm not saying politics is a bad thing. No, that's not what I want to do. So politics is never a bad thing, but it depends what kind of politics are we talking about. Agar politics खराब होता तो देश चलते ही नहीं ना. So I completely agree with you. Okay, people are saying all clear. Okay. Are there any questions so far? 100% all clear. Anil says 100% all clear. 100 AC. So I'm glad people are completely aligned to the language and the lingo. So super awesome to know that. You people have just been amazing, and I would like to share my love with all of you. So this is my emoticon for all of you. Could you please tell us about Agile? Yes, we will discuss about need review of all the pages once. So see, irrespective of anything that you do, if you have been attentive in the session, I'm sure you must have picked up a variety of different elements from here. But before I move to the last element, I wanted to share with all of you that you can, if you want, you can connect with me via LinkedIn as a medium, and this is my profile here. Okay, so I think okay, let me okay, so someone has raised hand, but okay, let me just come back to this. I'll share this links separately, but before I end this session formally, someone has raised hand. Just hold on for that. But let me just share with you here, very, very important thing, that if I can do it, then you can definitely do it. And that's what the last element is YCDI, you can do it. What you really need from here is, let me just share my own life example. Is I have had multiple career pivots, and those career pivots have really challenged me in so many different ways. Okay, so if I've had career pivots, they have challenged me. I have never stayed in my comfort zone. I've always stood at the forefront of the risks that I've taken, which means I've owned it up. I've been responsible. I've been accountable. I've taken up umpteen number of projects, both in personal, professional, and social life, that appear to be huge. So personally, I was in a different city. I moved to a different town. So that was a personal thing. Professionally, I've taken a variety of different change. Socially, I've been very, very active on variety of different platforms, forums, and I keep giving back in so many different ways. I've already spoken about comfort zone. I've kept on reinventing myself. So that's one thing. And then finally, I would like to also share with you my personal formula, which is the formula of GAP. So GAP is being grateful, attitude, and passion. So grateful, I've given you the examples of my gratitude diary, and also try to follow your own list of affirmations, whatever you believe in. Maybe one of a few examples that I can give you guys upfront is, I believe in myself. I love myself. I'm awesome. I'm amazing. I'm fabulous. When you start to reiterate these words can work like magic in your own mind. Okay, so that's being grateful. You can see this picture says it all. You must have seen this picture in the past also, and I have deliberately picked up this picture so that even if you have seen it in the past, you will be able to relate it quickly. Between I can and I can't, there is just one T, that apostrophe T. So it depends. Choice is yours. What is it that what is it that you would like to pick up? So what I exhibit during the day-to-day life, what each one of us exhibit in our own day-to-day life defines who we currently are, and also equally defines who we can end up becoming in our own life. And then it's always about passion. Okay, it's not just work. What is the kind of passion that you bring at work? That is where the real magic, the real energy typically comes in. Okay, so guys, let's just remember that, because that is what is going to bring power to you in abundance. Okay, so with this, I now open the forum for question and answers, and I can see that there are some other people who had raised hands. So would happy to start answering questions. But in the meanwhile, here is my LinkedIn profile. You can DM me, you can follow me. I would be happy to help you. And here is also my TopMate ID. Anyone who'd like to have mentoring session, you guys can book a slot here. Yes, I'm on Insta. Vivek.India is my ID on Insta. Vivek.India is my ID on Insta. I would also encourage. So let me ask, before we start answering questions, let me ask one simple question. Was this session super awesome for all of you? How many of you felt that this session was super awesome? Just write the word awesome in the chat box. If you really felt that this session was super awesome for you, just write super awesome in the chat box. Brinda Rati says awesome. Ashwini says awesome. Anil, awesome. Riya Kumari says awesome. Priyanka says super awesome. Okay. Manjot, awesome. Okay. Super awesome. Awesome. Mahab Jean, Madhu Kumari, Rishikesh, Akshay, Shantanu, Indrayani, Dilli Babu, Vibha Mishra, Yogita, Vichale, Snehal, Mohammad Masudul, Anil Kumar, Rampada, Sanjay Makwana, NM Patil, Lenovo, Swara, Aarti Sharma. Thanks a ton, guys. It is your words that are working like nothing less than magic for me. Let me just be very, very upfront to you. So I would also encourage each one of you, if you can visit my LinkedIn profile, go at the bottom and rate me on my skills, and also write a recommendation there. Just go to my LinkedIn profile, rate me on my skills, and write what has been your experience. I will also be giving you, so I would also request Professor Bhagyajee Pandey, if you can share my Google link for people to write a review on Google. That will really be helpful and kind of you, Professor Pandey. Now the session is open. Someone had raised hand. Happy to answer your questions. Thanks a ton, guys. You guys have been super kind and extremely generous. I love you all for your generosity and for your love and affection. So thanks a ton. Thanks a ton. I hope this energy remains and sustains in you, and you are able to really implement this energy. If someone has confusion regarding career, do guide us on LinkedIn. Yes, absolutely. Priya, happy to guide in any manner whatsoever. Also happy to give people who just want a short discussion, happy to give you guys a 15-minute complimentary slot if that can be of help. For long-term mentoring session, I've already given you guys the link. How to be a good public speaker like you. So thank you so much for your kind words. I feel that I'm just learning. So if you think that I'm a good speaker, that's your kindness. Thanks a ton for that. What is biggest motivation? How do you handle the pressure situation? I would say that I've been dealing with pressure situations for a very, very long time in my career. I've been into the water for long, and I've done the role of master of ceremonies umpteen number of times. I've dealt with people of very small group to thousands in the hall, or whatever you can say. So I've been used to managing and dealing with crisis. So because I'm someone who's used to dealing with crisis, I know that, okay, what people typically go through when it comes to crisis. So I think it is not really a one day's work. So people who would like to ask questions, I would encourage if you guys can keep your videos on, because keeping your videos on is extremely important, because when you keep your videos on, it gives completely different level of energy. So that's something which I would really encourage each one of you here. So keep your videos on, and feel free to ask any question that you might like to ask. Okay, here I'm also sharing my Google review page. So please go ahead, rate, and then write your learnings there. It will really help and inspire other people. So Manjot, you are asking, when in an organization we really don't raise our voice against unethical behavior being conducted, how to raise that issue while working? See, Manjot, what is very important is, if in your organization you can see that the unethical behavior that is being exhibited, the way to deal with that is, first observe and then understand what is unethical, what are the company policies and processes. Discuss that with HR. Instead of raising a voice, a big hue and cry, discuss that with your line manager, discuss that with HR, put those words in an appropriate fashion. Understand that, because what happens is when you blow it out of proportion and if you fall flat, then it can become a challenge. So don't let that happen. Discuss that, because a lot of things can happen with proper discussion. Don't just keep it to yourself. Discuss that this is what I observed and this is the kind of challenge that I really felt. What is it? Why is something like this happening? Is this the right way that it's supposed to happen? I hope that helps, Manjot. And if you want to discuss more, please feel free to switch on your video and then we can discuss more as well. Vrinda, your question is how to deal with anxiety or nervousness while giving any public speech or interviews. So, Vrinda, my simple question is, take a deep breath, then slowly exhale your breath. So there are a variety of different formulas to do that. And once you start to implement some of those formulas, you will see that your ability to deal with such anxiety or nervousness becomes better. So it is not really an overnight journey. You got to practice it. So next time when you have a public speaking session, feel free to get in touch with me and I'll be happy to help you on that front. So Sanjay Makwana says, being a student always give me a kick. How you see that? Awesome, Sanjay. I completely believe in that. So glad that you have raised this as a point, being a student always. I am myself a lifelong learner and I completely relate to that, completely in alignment with you on that. So undoubtedly, no doubt on that front at all. So that's completely in sync with me. So that makes complete sense for me. Okay, are there any other questions that comes? Giving your best in the office, but it is not enough. What should we do? Afia, when you say giving your best in the office, but that's not good enough, let me share with you, Afia, that it could also be relative in nature. इसका मतलब क्या है? Relative in nature का क्या मतलब है? Relative in nature का मतलब ये है that what you are thinking, you are giving your best. Does your line manager, does your colleagues, does your HR, does your office people think like that? Most importantly, does your leaders think like that? What is the kind of feedback that you received in your last appraisal? See, I don't have much idea as to how many years have you worked in your current organization. If you share with me some of those things, I'll be happy to give you specific approach. Otherwise, मैं जो कहूँगा थोड़ा सा generic रहेगा. I hope you understand, Afia. So it'll become generic. If you want to discuss one-on-one, feel free to get in touch. I'll be happy to help you. No problem at all. You guys can reach out to me saying you were part of the MIT SDE session, and I'll be more than happy to help you. What is the secret behind your energy and vibrancy? Prabhu, this is divine blessing. Blessings of my parents. This is absolutely divine blessings. I have to give it to the divine. And I'm no one, but divine is everyone. So I think my parents and divine is solely responsible for my energy and no one else is. So we are all, we have to give it back to the divine superpower who has given us that energy and given us that wisdom and power to do good to the world. And that's what we got to do. Akshay, to get promoted to the next level, is it right left from good organization or a bit? No, Akshay, आपका सवाल समझ में नहीं आया, पूरा clear नहीं, Akshay, to be frank with you. To get promoted to the next level, is it right, left from? So I haven't really understood. Jyoti Saxena, how to improve in trigger point of anger? Okay, take a deep breath and then leave your breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So that's the magic that you got to follow. Or else just leave it for the time being and then come back again later. See, आपको एक चीज समझना जरूरी है, Jyoti, that your silence should not be construed as someone who is very mild. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. But your silence should be construed as that you are in control of yourself. Jyoti, I hope that helps. That gives you clarity, Jyoti. I can see that you have kept your video on, Jyoti, so that's really nice of you. Amol Ghule, how to manage politics at workplace? So Amol, I have tried to answer that question multiple times. मैंने कई example लिए उस question को answer करने के लिए. But just to give you a classic case, see, it depends what kind of politics that's happening at your workplace. If you start to focus on delivering what your KPIs are, and if you start to engage with people positively at your workplace, that can help you stand out. And the moment you stand out at your workplace, you are a cut above the rest. Let me assure you on that. The moment you become a cut above the rest, you are already away from the journey of petty politics, if that is a word that I can use, because office politics are generally petty. अरे यार ये बॉस मेरा ऐसा है यार, देखो उसको इतना प्रमोशन दिया, उसको 20% का, उसको 10% या 15% मिला, मेरे को खाली 3% मिला. So all of those things, there are so many different factors that are responsible, and I'm not saying even for a moment कि politics नहीं होता. I'm not saying that politics must be happening, but there's always ways and means to deal with those politics, right? So that's the other thing about it. And let me also share with you, I'm not sure how many of you are active on LinkedIn as a platform. Active in the sense, so active in the sense, your profile is up to date and you are using LinkedIn to the best of your advantage. If not, then you can become active, because I'm organizing a webinar in the coming week. You guys might really benefit from that webinar. If you're not using it, I have students from different parts of the world, including Bangladesh, US. So this is going to be an intro webinar. You might just enjoy it. So be part of it by following and being active on my LinkedIn profile. Okay, Sanket Kate, I hope I'm pronouncing your name appropriately. Sanket Kate or Kate. To get promoted to the next level, is it right way to left from current? I haven't understood your question. Mohit iPhone. Mohit, you have raised your hand if you want to ask a question. I hope, Ashna, they can unmute. Are they allowed to unmute and ask questions, Ashna? I'm not sure if you can encourage that. That might be of help to them.
Okay, sir, we have not given that access, but if you want, we can give them the access.
You can give that right now, because
Okay.
if people, because we are having question answers, so I think if you give them that right, it might help depending upon the time available, because we still have some time. Yeah.
In a second, sir. Just a second.
Yeah, sure. So guys, you got to use the reaction button to give a clap for MIT SDE team. Please use the reaction button to give a clap to MIT SDE team. They're standing by you to get the finest benefit. So MIT SDE team, this clap is for you. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing. Your entire team of students are appreciating
Thank you, sir.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Mohit or someone, you had raised you are replaceable. The sooner you understand, the better your mental peace. Yeah, Pavan, absolutely. Everyone is replaceable in the world. Huh? So undoubtedly, that's true. आपने एकदम बहुत सही बात कही. Everyone is replaceable. Okay, और कोई सवाल है? How to keep work life and personal life balance, especially for salesperson, as they're on business tour most of the time. So Mohit iPhone, that's how your name is appearing here. If your question is how to keep work life and personal life balance, मेरा आपको approach ये है. My first answer to your question is, I hope you have taken notes and you've understood what actually arrives from the workplace quotient, all the 4 elements. Now, if you have to bring balance, you have to bring the right level of energy on all the 4. To bring the right level of energy on all the 4 is, even if you're working all the time, even if you're on work tours, you still have time in the morning, you have time in the evening. What is the kind of practices you are following? अगर आप सही तरीके की practices follow कर रहे हो, even if it's smaller, don't worry कि यार मेरे को 1 घंटा ही करना है. No, that's not what is important. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, keep increasing as your appetite is. The moment you keep increasing, see, please understand, everything starts small. Don't think about creating magic by allocating 1 hour. वो नहीं, वो हो सकता है कई हद तक लोगों के लिए sustainable नहीं होता है. So don't worry about that. Do what's possible. And if you have understood the recipe that I've presented, I'm sure you will then be in a position to create some balance in your life. The moment you start with creating one balance, like for example, start identifying small degree of happiness for you. What brings you happiness? Is it eating one chocolate? Is it bringing something for your home that brings you happiness? Is it nurturing plants that brings you happiness? Is it talking to people that brings you happiness? Identify aspects that brings you happiness every single day. हर दिन अगर आपने 1-2 happiness को chase किया, just imagine how many happiness you have earned for yourself just in 1 month. Huh? That is magical, Mohit. That is what I would recommend. Rushikesh, you have raised your hand. You want to ask any question? Go ahead, Rushikesh, all yours. Rushikesh Wagmode, you have raised your hand. If you want to unmute and talk, go about it. In the meanwhile, I'll answer some other questions.
But he has mentioned his question in the chat box.
Okay, that's fine. So NM Patel, how to handle arrogant boss? See, you can't change your boss. Okay, so two things that you can't change is your boss and your parents. You got to accept them. But क्या होता है कि appraisals में या feedback session में you always have the choice to express yourself also, because they always ask, okay, is there anything that you would like to share? Say, give specific instances. Just don't say a generic, अरे यार आप तो इतने arrogant हो. Don't say that. So pick up specific instances that this is what happened. I had not done my work, but you scolded me publicly. There were 10 other people who were listening. You had the choice to probably invite me into a room and then tell me that this is my weakness. So speak about it in a softer manner so that your boss, please understand, whoever is your boss, at the end of the day, he or she is also equally a human being. Let's not forget that. And anyone who is a human being would like to understand what is in for him or her to improve upon. I hope that helps and important. Priya, why most of the time good slaver get promoted instead of good employee? Okay. Good slaver. See, ये जो slavery वाली part आपने कही है ना यहाँ पे Priya. I had given that example right at the beginning of the session. That office से लोग 8 बजे 9 बजे भी निकलते हैं thinking अच्छा boss अभी cabin में है, वो जब निकलेंगे तब मैं निकलूंगा या निकलूंगी, whatever may be the case. You don't have to become like that. Okay, you focus on what is it that you are supposed to deliver for work. At the end of the day, you are going to be evaluated basis that. But if it is not improving, which means there's a high degree of toxicity, either you have to change your function or search for another boss. So that's in a short fashion I can give an answer. For longer answer, probably you might like to connect with me and I'll understand your situation and give you appropriate answer. Any tips on while public dealing? The biggest step while public dealing is listen to people. Understand what is it that they want to say. Don't ever be in a one-way traffic. Like आपने आज के session में observe किया होगा, it has not been a one-way traffic at all. ये session का पूरा credit आप लोगों को जाता है because you people have made this session lively and cheerful by with your active participation, right? How to deal with HR at the time of salary negotiation? See, salary negotiation is a very, very critical piece. You see, when you have to deal with HR, you have to understand what is the kind of mindset that HR is coming up with. How critical is this position for them? What is the kind of skills that you have? And what is the kind of skills that they need? How you can bring parity between the two. If you're able to bring parity, that is where your negotiation starts. To do your homework well, understand the sector, research about the industry, understand what is the work that you have done in the past and what is the kind of credibility that you can add to this role before jumping in the gun in terms of your salary negotiation. Okay, Pawan Khedekar, can you please tell us do's and don'ts in corporate life? Pawan, there are tons of do's and don'ts in life, my dear friend. There are tons of them. I'll give you a simple, one of the clear do's is always be respectful to people, exhibit empathy, be professional, follow the ethical culture, be disciplined. These are the do's. What are the don'ts? Avoid procrastination, avoid communication gap. Okay, avoid follow-ups coming in from your line manager or from your peer group. Avoid not taking ownership. These are some clear example of don't. Okay, Vaibhav Shinde, you have a question, sir. When I go for interview, every time I feel I make a mistake when I spoke, and often see, it depends कि आप interview के लिए कैसा prepare करके जा रहे हो, Vaibhav. So depending upon, see, interview is a tailor-made process. Okay, there are some foundations which will never change in any interview. It is like knowing about yourself, what are your strengths and weaknesses, किस तरह के सवाल आपको पूछने चाहिए. All of those things are basic. But beyond that, there are tons of other things that are also there. Okay, so I hope that helps. Prabhu Jagan, you mentioned silence should be portrayed powerful. How is that possible? See, a lot of times you have to take back seat depending upon the situation, but then you always have the choice to come back to the front depending upon what is that situation. See, if there's already a heated argument happening, उस heated argument उसमें आप भी अगर घी डालते हो तो what will happen? What is the kind of outcome that you will draw? Nothing, right? So just checking, it's already 11. Do I have time for question and answers? Continue. Should I continue, Dr. Pandey, or should I stop at this juncture? What would you recommend?
So I would suggest now we should move to the next part of the session.
Okay.
So is it okay with you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thanks a ton. So people whose question I've still not been able to answer, you can reach out to me, or you can share the questions via Ashna. I'll be happy to answer, or you can reach out to me directly. I'll be more than happy to help you. Thanks a ton. Gratitude to all of you. Thanks a ton.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So, thank you so much, sir. So, before going to vote of thanks, I would request students to kindly wait, as have some announcements regarding the next sessions and everything. So, it was a really privilege, sir, to have you for our Spectrum, the virtual conclave session. You have that energy and unbeatable energy that that you have set for our Spectrum sessions. So, thank you so much, sir. Also taking out your time from their busy schedule was really grateful. Thank you so much for that. Your insights and aspects regarding the workplace quotients were truly valuable for our students. Also, the real time examples which you shared with the students were really helpful. So thank you so much, sir, for that.
And one more request to students is the links which have been shared by Vivek sir here in the chat box about his Google page and even LinkedIn's. Do connect with him. He's a very good person who will definitely help you out for resolving your all the queries and everything. So do connect with him. Just mention the recommendations and everything to him in the LinkedIn profile to connect and recommend about the sessions and everything on his Google page as well. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, at this junction, let me quickly express my gratitude. Thanks a ton, team MIT SD. Thanks a ton, Ashna, for those nice words. Thanks a ton, Professor Pandey, for once again giving me this opportunity to serve your esteemed institution. And thanks a ton to over 200 people. I hope this session has enriched your life in a meaningful manner. And I hope that this session leaves an indelible impact in your life so that you can actually emerge much more stronger and you do well in your life. I am happy to serve you now and in future as well. Thanks a ton for having me.
Yes, sir. We would love to have many more sessions with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Always available at your service. Thanks a ton,
Thank
Ashna.
you, sir.